wrestling bits. Subscribe now.
Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles had one hell of a match in opener as expected. This was much more of a wrestling match as AJ Styles worked over Drew McIntyre's knee throughout, which is always an awkward story of a match filled with weapons, but it worked. The Miz's failed cash-in attempt was the subject of high drama, which enhanced the match. But do you mean to tell me that this is the best they can do with this once prestigious briefcase, which loses value with every passing year? Otis just had to cough this thing up to the Miz so he could foolishly cash in during a ladder match, all while ignoring the 7-foot giant standing ringside? Once upon a time, Money in the Bank was a star-making tool, but in a year where WWE has been completely incompetent in the new stars department, I guess it's fitting that this briefcase die a slow death similar to the Intercontinental title. Sasha Banks and Carmella had a pretty good wrestling match, but it didn't really match the tone of their heated back-and-forth rivalry. The sommelier still has yet to find a pair of socks, and as good as these two women looked, I simply could not get into this match given WWE's failure to truly establish a babyface in this feud. Both of these women have been unlikable because they essentially have the same gimmick as bossy, materialistic women who call the shots in their circle. Exposing WWE's team of male, middle-aged decision makers is limited in their ability to write for women. Sasha Banks has to turn heel sooner rather than later. Cedric the Alexander continues his improbable surge to finish 2020. Remember when this guy was ricocheted not too long ago? But because WWE books black people in blocks and keeps them all in their own separate but equal universe, Cedric the Alexander was able to pick up some momentum through a series of wins over the New Day. Good on him, I'll take it. And with 3 belts belonging to one stable, the Hurt Business is now dominating WWE's Black Wrestlers division. Incels be damned because Charlotte Flair made her triumphant return to WWE. The most disliked woman of 2019 among WWE fans, Charlotte did what she does best and won another championship in the company. Shout out to her. Charlotte and Asuka will make for a great tag team, and because every team in WWE inevitably suffers a bitter divorce, the feud and fallout from Charlotte versus Asuka figures to be pretty epic as well. Still, WWE is best served having these two aces run the tag team division similar to Sasha Banks and Bayley throughout the pandemic. Roman Reigns continues to be the best thing going in WWE as he defeated Kevin Owens, who had to essentially wrestle a 2-on-1 ladder match. Reigns seems unbeatable right now, and he needs to stay that way because boy is he believable in this role as a menacing and authoritative heel. With Jimmy Uso set to return into the fold next month, this storyline will only get better, and I have no problem with Roman Reigns facing Goldberg at WrestleMania, even if that means the old man has to win a Royal Rumble match to get there. Because for those of you who are still foolishly holding out hope that a young and up-and-coming star can do anything in the senile era under this administration, then I've got some declining shares of WWE stock to sell you. Randy Orton versus The Fiend in the Firefly Inferno match was not the train wreck that House of Horrors was. It even had a kick-ass visual of The Fiend being set on fire and still chasing after Randy Orton, but the finish of Orton winning this match and setting The Fiend on fire did more irreparable damage to the character. I don't care how quickly he comes back from this. At this point, The Fiend is like Kane in 2020, but with none of the great moments that made Kane into a monster in the 22 years leading up to that. He lost to a 52-year-old Goldberg in Saudi, and now in his own match, he's lost emphatically to a 40-year-old Randy Orton after being burnt to a crisp. What are we doing here? WWE has a ready-made star and merchandising empire that they created themselves, and they literally burned it to the ground tonight. I guess the priority is to keep Randy Orton strong for the next young, up-and-coming star he'll be putting over.